Okay, we're back in the Hall of Echoes, but we have some new information on a new show from Paramount Plus. We'll talk about that in a second. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and as you see, we are back indoors. We're still not to the point to where we could clean out the shed. We're still working on that, but in the meantime, thought we would send something your way from the Hall of Echoes here. We have for you a review of some sorts of Star Trek Prodigy. Now, we start at the very outset of this that it is a juvenile aimed drama in which it is aimed at probably tweens and early teenage people. However, it is fully Star Trek, and there are a few things in it that kind of identify that, not just the starship, which we find out later is called Protostar, and Janeway, which you have heard from all of the teasers we've had so far, that is going to be part of the cast, a kind of a holographic Janeway. What we have in this first episode is an introduction of the characters. Dahl, who is a humanoid-like species, which we don't know exactly, and neither does he, it seems, knows exactly where he came from or what planet he was from, what species he is, who is kind of an escape artist. He has made a couple of attempts at escaping, and in the most recent time is caught and chained by the ankle to a rock-looking creature. Nobody can speak the same language because they're not allowed universal translators, and so they are mining chimerium in this mine. It looked a lot like dilithium, but apparently it's something that's fairly valuable and needs to be mined. We are very soon introduced to a character which was known at first as Convict Zero, which is an escaped Medusan. The Medusan is a race that was first introduced in the original series, and that was, I think the character's name was Kodos, and that's where Diana Muldaur, earlier in her career, played a aide to this Medusan ambassador. Just looking on their true form causes people to go insane, except for Diana Muldaur in this episode. Spock is encountering this and actually mind melds with him, and it's a whole interesting story in the original series. So they bring back a Medusan character who is encased in a shell and able to move around with appendages and things such as that. Otherwise, Medusans are pretty much pure energy. We also see a Kazon. With the knowledge of a Kazon being something that is dealt with on this planet, that would mean that it is in some part of the Delta Quadrant. Now, we also know this by some of the teasers that have been given to us by the producers. There is a Cation character. Once again, we don't know exactly if that is a native of the Delta Quadrant or the far end of the Alpha. They mention in here a thing that I have not ever seen used in any of the series, but in a book that I read a long time ago, they mentioned that what most of the Federation speaks is what they call standard. What we hear, of course, is English, but of course everybody speaks through universal translators, and so the Federation language, whatever that is, they call standard. It's something that virtually everybody understands without translation in Federation worlds. So they mention that here, and it's the first time I think it's ever been mentioned in an episode. We hear from some other characters. Let's see, John Ka Pog, who is an engineer. I think a Denobulan. I'm not absolutely certain. It could also be a Talaxian. So I'm not absolutely certain. I think they may have mentioned during the show, and I just missed that. And then Rock Talk is the rock monster kind of character, and a little amorphous creature who does not seem to speak any discernible language, which they just call Murph. He's kind of a pet, but apparently he has some surprises in there. Now, we have in the hierarchy of this mining planet, there is someone that's called the Provider, and he is an emperor of sorts. There are those that are robot-like creatures who follow him, and what is called a progeny, which is otherwise known as Gwen, who is, we would think, the Provider's daughter or of some sort. And she is part of this world, and in the hierarchy of it, she serves as a translator and also is about as trapped as some of the people that work down there. So these people all get together and happen upon this lost Federation starship, and apparently the Provider is interested in this ship. That was probably what they were really mining for, and there no doubt is going to be, as our heroes make off with it, which also is revealed in the teasers, that there is going to be somewhat of a chase as kind of an overarching plot device in this series. So it's not a very complicated plot to follow. You have your good guys, you got your bad guys, you've got some interesting non-human creatures, and that with hologram Janeway are going to learn how to fly this ship and go on adventures and run away from those that are pursuing them. That seems to be what the entirety of this series is going to be about. We're not going to give weekly summaries of this. I seriously doubt that there's anything that we could really shed any light on, but they do seem to have a respect for canon and for Starfleet ideals. So we think that it's a good show. It's a good thing to get younger folks indoctrinated into the Star Trek universe. All of us, or most of us, I would say, probably started watching Star Trek as teens and found our way to where we are now. So I think that with this show being a little more accessible than especially things like Discovery and Picard, this may be a good starting point for a lot of people that would like to get into Trek. I'd like to know what you think about this, and please do put things in the comments and let me know what you think about this. Meantime, we will have another video very soon, and we're keeping track of the latest developments for the beginning of the new season of Doctor Who. And of course, we think in just about a couple of weeks, we'll see Discovery come back. So there's going to be a lot of activity going on starting in November. We hope that you'll be around to watch what we have to say about it. I appreciate those who do. Please do subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next video. And until next time, don't go far.